Hey, I'm Clifton Slay with Gone-Gpn. We are here with Brad from Warn to talk about some products that are staples as far as the winch, but also some new products. And you've been with Warn
since 2017.
Okay, so a fair amount of time.
Yeah.
Well, Brad, show me what you got with these. I know we're gonna just spend a little bit of time.
So yeah, we'll start with the winches real quick. Obviously our Evo series, standard duty winch, as far as it's more of an entry level, gets you Warn quality, Warn reliability at a lower price point. So you don't have to cheap out on the winch and go with something unreliable. You've got an Evo winch from Warn that's gonna have a duty cycle, probably 3, 4, 5 times longer than a tool winch that you'll see out there. So
by tool winch, what do you mean?
So a lot of the really cheap winches out there that are designed as tools.
Oh, sure.
They've got about a 15-second duty cycle. So you run them for a little bit, they get hot, the controls get really hot, and they start to fail, after just a little bit of time.
I actually know exactly what you're talking about because you see a lot of people buy those as sort of an entry level like price point winch, and then they fail.
Yes.
And they kind of lock up, they have all kinds of problems. And I've had to work on those as well.
Right.
It's always been a great segue to be like, I know you saved $200, but
this is an actual recovery winch.
Yes.
So you can rely on this one probably at least 200 feet of good pull. Mm-hmm. So you and a buddy all day long, this thing's going to get you home every time. And that's really where you're getting the difference in the quality of the winches is duty cycle. Okay. So like I said, 1 to 2 vehicles, recover them all day long. If it's you and a lot more buddies, then
all right, let's go look at this one.
We step into the Xeon.
All right.
So a duty cycle probably more like 10 times the length of even our Evo.
What gives it a different duty cycle? Like what's the difference between this one and that one?
The brake inside, the drum is a cast zinc drum, cast zinc and or aluminum drum, but the motor is a much heavier duty motor, and the winch just runs a lot more efficient, so it can run a lot longer at full power without getting hot, without overheating.
Okay.
So
by the aluminum construction, is that a weight savings? Or is that heat? Is it dispersed heat differently?
It's a little bit more rigid. It's definitely a lot nicer on the aluminum, on the synthetic ropes. And the Xeon actually features a through drum mounting on the rope, so you've got a lot more available rope. Obviously best practice is still to keep that drum full of rope. Mm-hmm. But you can run it a little bit. You can cheat this a little bit more on a Xeon and give you that little bit more flexibility.
So Brad, let me clarify. So by full of rope, you mean keep that last strap on the spool, and by go through like the rope actually feeds into the spool as opposed to the old style where we used to have like a
just a little bolt on the side. Right.
Okay, I got it.
Yeah.
All right. So now we're still moving up.
Still moving up. So if you want the ultimate in speed and performance, you do have our Platinum. So the Platinum has similar drum capacity and stuff to the regular Xeon, but it's got a completely automatic clutch, and it's got our best motor as far as a planetary winch. So you're getting the most line speed out of this one.
So I know what planetaries are, but you mean a better planetary is a bigger size planetary or better
planetary as far as planetary winch. So all the gear reduction happens in this side here versus the old upright, where you had the gears that that ran down through it.
I got it.
So this is a planetary style winch. Mm-hmm. This is the fastest of the planetary winches that I have.
And you mean by upright? Am I 8274 stuff? Okay.
Yep.
I still love that winch. Still my favorite.
Yeah, still making them. Still the fastest winch out there.
All right. Well, I agree. Beyond the winches, I know that you guys have a lot of other products because you're not just a winch company. You have all these other brands as well.
Right. So in the last 2 years, we picked up Fabtech, Fab Fours, and Factor 55. So now we can not only service your winch needs and your recovery needs. Now we've got premium closed system winching with Factor 55. We've got suspension with Fabtech, and then we've got a full line of bumpers and protection with Fab Fours.
Yeah, and of course Fabtech has been a company in the industry a long time.
Right.
Fab Fours, I know those guys really well. Mm-hmm. Is Fabtech still going to be blue, or are you guys changing the suspension to red?
I don't think we'll change the suspension to red. We're using a lot more black now, of course. Okay. But the roots are there in blue, so we're doing what we can to integrate and become kind of a blended family here. So yeah, let's go take a look at some of the new Fabtech Jeep stuff.
All right, sir, I'll follow you.
Yeah. Over here in the Fabtech area of our booth, just want to remind everybody that Fabtech does do a lot of really cool Jeep stuff. Mm-hmm. Now they're doing the later model stuff where you're converting to coilovers, but we've also got a full line of of entry level, mid level, and upper end shocks.
Okay.
But obviously focusing more on the JK, the JL, the JT market, but can go crazy on this stuff.
Brad, is this bolt-on, or is this like you need a fabricator to weld it on the frame and all that kind of stuff?
It is. There is some welding required, and you are having to cut some of the factory pieces off of there to get a coilover kit in there.
Sure.
But most of this stuff is real minor. It's definitely all. There's no fabrication required. It's follow the instructions, and really easy install for the amount of performance you're getting out of these things.
Now, are you guys manufacturing these coilovers as well? Is this all
manufactured right now in California? Okay. Gonna stay American made. It's the only stainless steel bodied coilover shock that's out there right now. So you don't have the the corrosion and the wear that aluminum typically does.
Well, it's always pretty, and part of the, I would say, some of the lineage of Fabtech, which I've always respected from my days as well. Fabrication is keeping it beautiful and functional, and you always have like the right combination. And like I said, it seems like what you guys are doing here follows that lineage with Fabtech.
Yes, yeah, it's a premium brand, and it complement the Warren brand really well, and that's what we're looking for when we're acquiring different companies and really trying to become that full service manufacturer.
So I love old iron, I love the new Jeeps, but why this? I mean, if I have a new Jeep, I bolt this on. Other than the obvious, the cool factor, is it a high-speed performance, like desert high speed? Is it rock crawling? Is it a hybrid?
It's really kind of a hybrid. So you've got a lot more flexibility in the spring rate by doing a coilover. So you've got the tender spring and you've got a load-bearing spring. Sure. So you do increase the quality of the ride, but you also increase the high-speed performance. As the rigs are getting bigger, they're getting heavier, they're getting faster. We're able to get out a little bit more on sand dunes and some of the open OHV areas. You can open them up a little bit more, and the new suspension geometries that they're putting in the newer Jeeps is just amazing. It's not the jar your teeth, bounce you out of the seat kind of old school ride. You don't have a new leaf spring
conversion kit coming?
No.
That would make you feel at home if I had leaf springs. Well, we did coilovers way back in the day, and a lot of the things with coilovers is trying to figure out the coil rate, your adjustment rings or transitions.
Right.
Is your guys' kit set up for like, hey, I have a 4-door, so this is where you should set your transition rings, and it comes with a sort of I hate to use the word cookie cutter, but a basic coil setup?
So one nice thing about the Fabtech coilover kits is they come preset. So if you order a 4-inch kit for your 4-door gas motor, it's going to come preset. You're going to bolt it on, and it's going to be good to go right out of the box.
And you said 4-inch. I didn't even think about that. So is this a lift kit as well?
Yes.
Okay. So does this one, like, I can lift it 2 inches or 6 inches, or is it designed for a particular height?
It's designed for a specific height. Obviously, you do have adjustability with these with the threaded body, so you could take this one and adjust your ride, fine tune your ride height to right where you want it.
Okay.
Obviously, we're going to have a couple of different kits. A 6-inch kit is going to be a longer shock than a 4-inch kit.
Sure.
But you do have some adjustability, some tunability in this as well as the guy that just wants to bolt it on and go.
Neat. Well, hopefully we will see these on the trail. Are they already on the trail?
Oh, these are already on the trail.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
So it's a new product.
It's
Yeah,
new to our family as far as in the last couple of years. But just want to you don't see a whole lot of Fabtech on the trail yet, but we're trying to change that.
Yeah, I'm sure we will. With Warren backing, I'm sure that we will. So this thing, I'm just looking at the picture, so I'm surmising that this is a organizer for the top of the JL.
Yep. Yeah.
Like
so
switches and cool stuff.
JL JT. This is a great easy molly panel to go in the roof there, because we all know you run out of room in a Jeep to mount things and to hold things. So
they keep making the Jeeps bigger,
and they keep piling more electronics and stuff in there.
When we had CJ5s, we still managed to do it, but this is actually sort of an idea I remember fabricating on cages back in the day.
Yeah.
But I don't know if we had this many switches. The new Jeeps must have a lot of accessories.
Well, the Molly panel's really kind of taken off for everything. So there's a lot of versatility to the Molly panel, and a lot of accessories that mount into that super easy. So no more drilling holes and no more specific, cut to fit panels. It's a little more universal.
It looks like an easy bolt on. It's not a weld into a cage.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's already holes there. It's just bolt right in.
All right, neat. What else you got?
So yeah, we can go crazy with Fab Fours, or we can go over to Factor 55 first.
Factor 55.
Factor 55. Let's go to recovery. All right, so now we've got the Factor 55, recovery gear, pioneer of the closed system winching. So they were the
closed, so we don't have any open in stuff. What does that mean?
Right. So when we first, obviously the winches first came out, they had a hook and they had a little bit of safety latch on there
with a little spring on it.
Right. Not much there.
Yeah, I remember.
As things get a little bit more rowdy off road, lines get slack and tension, slack and tension, sometimes things could come apart.
Of course.
So what Mike Costa did with Factor 55, he's like, I want a way to lock everything in 100% closed. I don't want anything coming apart ever. Mm-hmm. So that's where the thimble was kind of the first product there.
Which thing, Brett?
So that's
replace
the hook on the end of your winch line there. So, but then that led into a whole line of premium recovery gear. Obviously, Warren saw that and was like, man, this fits with our premium product right away, and the marriage was born.
Yeah, and I could see it because a lot of like the bow shackles and like the hook, we've used those for years.
Yep.
And the cable, all that kind of thing, and had failures on occasion because we were all known to maybe exceed limits on occasion. So when I first saw the Factory 55 stuff, it was kind of like this sexy aluminum machine work, which I can respect.
Right.
Is this like some of the shape? Obviously, there's some style in here as well, but is this just a better choice than a hook because of the closed loop, or is it?
It is. I mean, it's got quite a few advantages because it's not exposing the cable anymore. So that completely encapsulates the cable, allows you to put a little bit of tension on that winch and keep everything, theft proof as well. It's protecting the end of the rope. So, and then also, like you said, when you've got all that hooked into a rigging apparatus, everything can't come apart. So,
and is it feels lighter? Is it aluminum or is
it? It's all 70-75 billet aluminum.
All right. So as far as failure, I always talk about failure rates or working limits and that kind of stuff. Sometimes with like aluminum, sometimes you think it's softer. I realize the 775 is tougher.
It's pretty hard.
Is it exceed the old steel cast stuff, or is it?
So one thing with Factor 55 stuff, everything is tested to destruction. So we know exactly where these are going to break every time, and the safety factors that we're figuring into those things far exceed anything you'll ever see in the field. So, and we also document everything, so you know exactly what the working load limit is on all of their products.
Yeah, and that is one of the great things about Warren is any of these types of products, I can ask you and be like, how many kilonewtons or whatever, and I always get an answer, where some other companies are kind of like, I'm not sure.
Right.
And speaking of that, so by the closed loop, hooking into this, I don't really have a weak point in any particular direction. Can it side pull and it's still okay? Like a side load?
So obviously, anytime you want to minimize side loading, anytime you got a bow shackle in there, you wouldn't want to, pull against it. Obviously, this is going to swivel around and stay fairly aligned.
Sure.
But that's where pulleys and redirecting things, to keep those things lined up. So.
And are these, like I see a bow shackle pictured on here.
Yes.
So can I use a soft, because I see these beveled edges that are nice soft edges. Yep. So I can use a soft shackle in this. I can use a bow shackle.
Right. This is my new favorite link, just because it's got the most versatility. Yeah. And it's fairly compact. But you can put your bow shackle in this one either way. So you can run the D part of it through, or you can run the pin part of it through, or you can run your soft shackle through there. It's got a really nice radius there. It's going to be nice on the soft shackle.
Okay. So if I ask you a pointed question.
Yeah.
So if I put a soft shackle in here, what's the weak link? I assume it's a soft shackle.
It's still a soft shackle.
Okay. And what's the braking?
It depends on the soft shackle you're using. If you've got one of ours, you can see this one here. Working load limit 7,800 pounds. Minimum braking strength 39,000 pounds.
Which is heavier that's more than most vehicles I would expect.
Yes.
And I would say, I'm not speaking about the Warren bumpers, but I'd say some attachment points are probably less At 39,000, I'm going to guess.
Most of our Jeep bumpers and winch plates are rated to 12,000 pounds, and that's what we're going to pull. We're going to pull that bumper against that frame to 12,000 pounds. This would allow you to double that back and still have safety factor in there.
Yeah, so a huge safety factor. I also see these. Now these are a soft shackle. I see it's almost like an impregnated protection or something.
It's got an extra wrap on there just in case you do have to run something through this, something sharp, frame rail on a vehicle that's upside down, a vehicle that doesn't have proper recovery points.
Sure.
You've got a little bit more flexibility, a little bit more durability with the extreme soft shackles.
Yeah, which is great because sometimes recoveries aren't always in the best situation, or can't always go to a perfect attachment point or something like that.
Yep.
The length, though, is this just to give you more versatility as well?
Again,
so
more
I can reach out a
versatility.
frame or something?
Yep.
Okay. Anything else that's new with Factor 55 as far as new products this year?
We keep revising the hitch links. So we've softened up these go in the hitch. So you can use that receiver hitch as a recovery point. Softened up those a little bit on the hitch link 2.0s. And then constantly coming out with new kits and new innovations and stuff there.
Is this like a 2 1/4?
So we do have a 2-inch, 2 1/2, and 3 inch.
Okay,
so you've got the bigger truck stuff available
Nice.
in the 2.0.
Okay. So hey, let's talk about your other company that you got, which is Fab Fours.
So yeah, last one, Fab Fours with the bumpers and the sliders, and obviously more than just Jeep, but they've got some really extreme Jeep stuff out there as well. Plus just the good trail, good trail bumpers and protection as well.
Well, show me where it's at.
All right.
Head on over.
All right. So Fab Fours has always been known for pushing the limits.
Yeah.
And I think
that is true.
We've pushed quite a few limits on the old Gladiator build here.
Now, did Fab Fours? Is Greg still running Fab Fours for you guys?
He's still part of Fab Fours. Yes. We don't want to lose his vision, his creativity. So he's still involved. He's still out there at events with us.
So did Greg, is he the inspiration?
Oh yeah.
For the way this looks?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I would say that Fab Fours it's sort of like their signature, now your signature as well.
Right.
It's sort of changing the look of the vehicle through some of these accessories that are less like traditional products. Right. So this thing looks closer to me to a Batmobile
does.
than like an off-road Jeep, or am I wrong?
No, I mean it's definitely a different style. Obviously, a little bit of military inspiration, a little bit of Batmobile. There's going to be a lot of opinions on this one.
So if I shot this thing, what round would penetrate this armor?
That I don't know.
50 cal, no problem.
That would probably go through it.
I think it would do it.
I mean, there's a balance in there between weight and protection, but obviously it's a lot more steel than the plastic flares and stuff that came on it.
So maybe the market you guys are actually segueing into is sort of a post-apocalyptic Jeep products for survival.
Right.
So it kind of looks like. Well,
right, go prepared for anything.
Yeah, I see that. Well, it definitely has a striking appearance, and I'm sure it's going to be very polarizing.
Correct.
On whether it's a cool style for just street or just off-road.
Right.
But I'm assuming I could probably break some rocks with this stuff.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure. Now, does this follow throughout? Is it armored all the way across?
It's armored all the way through. So I mean, basically they pulled fenders. Started with a blank slate. There was no limitations on this one. Let's just start fresh and build it as crazy as we kind of can on this one.
So they actually took the original. Is the whole clip missing from it?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Hood, fenders, all of it's gone. Bed completely off. So the doors and the cab are still there, but you can't just put these fenders on there. These fenders have to work with the hood, with the Vical.
I got it.
So this is a complete transformation.
So next week, I want to kill zombies. I can order this.
Yep.
Okay. And does it come as a complete? What's it
complete
called?
body kit.
Like the Black Ops package or something?
It's the Gladiator body kit right now.
Okay. What's retail?
I don't know.
More than $100 though.
More than $100, yes.
All right, and so the back end is really unique as well.
Complete bed replacement. Anybody that's wheeled with a Gladiator knows There's a whole lot of bed back here.
For sure.
There's a whole lot of weak bed sides on there. So this bobbed it all back. Still gave you enough room to put a little bit of gear, you know, cooler and that kind of stuff. But integrated some winch points and, you know, awesome departure angle.
Yeah, well, I see the departure angle, plus obviously built specifically for Warren winches, probably
Correct.
fits the best, I'm guessing.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, I do see some gear in here.
Yeah.
So a really unique look. It's definitely going to be like an eye catcher,
Right.
for sure. Which is a lot of like Fab Fours designs.
Yes.
Especially some of their vehicles have been that way. So I can see the people looking for that. This would be really popular.
Yeah. You know, for the guys that want to push the limits, this is what they got. But by pushing the limits this far, we can come back to, you know, good quality, you know, tough bumpers, fender systems, rock sliders, all that kind of stuff for every other Jeep as well.
No, that's great.
So.
Thank you for giving me a tour around.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, sir.
All right. Thank you much.
All right. Thank you.